This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Come on in, everybody. We are nice and warm inside the A-Cuff studio. This is the Simply Superior Studio, A-Cuff House on the Opry Plaza. I'm Kelly Sutton. That's Charlie Mattos. Annie Nye is with us this morning, as is Jeff Roberts. And what a show we've got lined up for everybody. Lots to talk about in entertainment news, and some sad news to start off with, that we have lost the oldest living member of the Grand Ole Opry. Mr. Buck White passed away yesterday at the age of 94 years old. And what an incredible legacy. We're going to talk more about his life and, of course, his impact on the Grand Ole Opry coming up.
You know, he was still able to perform with the Whites as little as maybe a year ago or so. I remember still seeing Buck out there. But, yeah.
I know that it is bittersweet. And, of course, our thoughts are with the entire White family this morning, and Sharon and Ricky and everybody. But definitely one of those when we got it. It wasn't unexpected because he was 94, and as you mentioned, he'd been having some memory issues for a while. But just when it came across, still hurt. To see that
statement from the family said it's a blessing that he's now up in heaven, and it is bittersweet. You're right.
Absolutely. So we're talking more about that coming up in just a little bit. Also, we have a really cool show that's going to be happening at the Grand Ole Opry. Details about the Dwayne Eddy tribute show. You may have just heard it. We had a spot that was on the radio side that was just talking about it. So really cool guitar licks that you remember. It took me a minute, and then when you played was it Peter Gunn?
Peter Gunn theme is maybe the one that everybody certainly knows.
I was like, I know exactly what this is. So that's a special show. We've got details on that coming up for you. And Carrie Underwood has a pretty cool gig coming up as well. She's going to be performing. We'll tell you where. All that and more. We got a lot of stuff right here for you. You're in the best place.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Okay, everybody. We just got some great video from a very special night that happened at the Grand Ole Opry in 2024. That was the debut of Post Malone. Now, I will tell you, it was a magical night. So much energy in the house. So many incredible people were there for that night.
I remember thinking, boy, I would love to go. No, yeah, you were working that
I was
night.
working.
I would not have been working. And I thought, I should really just go to watch. And I thought, nah, I don't want to do that because then I'll just be in the way. And, they really only want people who are working there. Well, that's not true because everybody I know was at that show and they had no reason to be there. They were I could have been one more person in the way that night.
I will tell you, it was just fun because it was so different and because he had such reverence for the stage.
Yep.
So just backstory for everybody, a little behind the scenes. When people are coming to the Grand Ole Opry, they will first meet up with the band and they get to do a run through with the band. Most of that happens, I don't know, like what, 4:35 sometimes?
Yeah, or sometimes as late as 6 or 6:15.
Yeah.
Yep, just depends.
Just depends. Post Malone arrived at the Grand Ole Opry at 3 p.m. because he said, I didn't want to miss any of it. And he stayed until everyone was gone and talked to our guard at the guard shack.
I remember him telling me, because I asked when I came in the next morning, I said, well, how was last night? And he goes, well, he stayed till after midnight. Then he rolled down the window on his truck and talked to me for 15 minutes.
Right? It's just when somebody understands it on that level, it makes you even happier to get to see them make their Grand Ole Opry debut. So this was just posted to all of our socials. We highly recommend that you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or whatever your preferred method is. But we want you to make sure that you get to see it as well. So here's a little clip of Post Malone and his debut at the Grand Ole Opry. Take a look.
And he is through and through one of the best musicians, artists, and people I've met. Please welcome, for his debut on the Grand Ole Opry, Post Malone.
I'm here to play some songs tonight with some really amazing folks, and I'm so terrified and beyond honored to be standing right in this spot right here.
It's scary, especially when we've made all my music in LA and just recording in a new place and writing in a new space. But as soon as we touch down here, everyone has been so kind to me, and it's the most amazing thing ever.
This next person I'd like to bring up, honestly, one of the most stunning people I've ever met in my entire life, Lainey Wilson, ladies and gentlemen.
How cool is that? You see Lainey walking out to the stage. Just a magical night. It truly was. And if you want to see more, you can always follow us on Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media outlets.
Yeah, I think there's an 11-minute piece on that on the Opry's YouTube page.
I was going to say, the YouTube page is another place.
And they were just about to do Nosedive, my favorite song off that album, off F1 Trillion. I love that one.
We just found out, was it Luke? Who wrote Nosedive? Was it Luke?
No, but he wrote co-wrote 4 or 5 of the songs on that record.
Yeah, there was somebody that was a co-writer on Nosedive that we both looked at each other and went, "Oh, wow, that's surprising. I did not realize." So if you want more, of course, you can follow us along on our YouTube page. Just look for Opry, and Opry.com is where you can find everything if you are interested in getting tickets. It is our 100th year, y'all, and we've got shows and more shows, and we want you to be a part of it. So get your tickets and plan your trip to Nashville and visit us here at the Grand Ole Opry.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome in Coffee, Country, and Cody. We are happy that you are here with us as we celebrate our 100th year. This is pretty incredible when you think about it. 100 years for WSM, 100 years for the Grand Ole Opry. We have well more than 100 shows this year. How many shows are we looking at?
260 plus.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay.
I think over 260. So that would be well more than 100.
More than 100.
As you so eloquently put that.
Thank you. Yeah, we just have a whole lot of shows, and we would love for you guys to come and see us. So you can get your tickets. Everything is available at Opry.com. So very easy to find. Did have some sad news that happened yesterday that we're passing along to you today. We lost our oldest living member of the Grand Ole Opry. Mr. Buck White passed away yesterday at the age of 94. And that was one that wasn't unexpected, but also didn't make it any easier. Of course, our thoughts and hearts are with the entire White family this morning. Sharon, Cheryl, Rosie, and Melissa, all of his daughters. But yeah, just a sad moment to hear about that. And we found out about it right after we went off the air yesterday. He
was one of those like Dick Clark or Paul McCartney that just seemed forever young. Even when he was in his 70s or 80s, still looked 2 decades younger than he actually was.
And always smiling.
And had that spirit, too. Yeah, always joking backstage, always a laugh, a hello, a handshake, a little gotcha. He'll certainly be missed for sure.
This was the statement that the family put out yesterday. They said, "The Lord answered our prayers and took our daddy home peacefully this morning at 8 a.m. We are so thankful for his 94 years on this earth. He was a great dad who taught us by example to put Jesus first always." And, they performed together since the early part of the 1960s as a family group.
Yep.
So, gosh, when you think about that legacy from the 60s on, and of course, being here at the Grand Ole Opry and being an Opry member for so many years. So sad that we are missing Mr. Buck this morning. He celebrated 40 years as a Grand Ole Opry member last March, 94 years, and passed away yesterday. So we'll be remembering him, and when the arrangements are intact, we'll let you know more about that. Well, Luke Bryan is taking the farm tour on the road, everybody. This is interesting. He hasn't done this before, and it's with a good cause. There are still so many fires that are raging in California, and I think this was probably already in the works, and he said, yeah, it's more important now to do it than ever before. He's taking his farm tour to California. This is to raise awareness for California farmers. Most of them have all been in the Southeast. So we talked about Georgia and Alabama and, of course, Tennessee, and even up into Indiana and Illinois. This year, he's got 3 that are already in place. They're going to be happening in May. One in Altwater, California, one in Clovis, California, and one in Shafter. He said, you know what, with the farm tour being such a unique type of tour, we visit rural towns, but we want to make sure that we're really intentional on where we go in order to have the best experience for the fans, all while lifting up the farming community and what they do for our country. I've always wanted to raise awareness for the West Coast farmer. I'm excited to get to do that this year. Tickets are going on sale Friday, 10 a.m. Central, so get your tickets and go see Luke on the West Coast. We talked about the fires. Grammys still going to be happening. And that was the big question. You've got so many things that are happening in LA. Grammys are set for the 2nd of February. And so far, it looks like they're going to continue on. But they are going to put emphasis on raising money. So there's going to be a fundraising component, I think, to the Grammys this year. And they're also going to have a lot of the first responders who will be a part of that show.
certainly affected the sports world. They had the Rams game last night. Was moved from SoFi Stadium to Arizona. The Lakers and Clippers both had home games postponed, although I think everything is back on schedule for them. And, of course, the Grammys are at the home of the Lakers, the former Staples Center, now Crypto.com arena.
Right. So we'll have to keep you up to date. I did think about it, and I was like, okay, where could they go if they were going to move the Grammys all of a sudden? Where could they quickly relocate? And I'd have to think Nashville would be the next best option. Or Vegas, maybe Vegas because it's closer. But yeah, we've got all the infrastructure here and we know how to do big events. So don't know. We'll let you know. We do have some really cool news for anybody who wants to get out of the cold and take a cruise. Not with us yet. But the Academy of Country Music just announced that they are starting cruises with Princess Cruise Lines. This is really cool. Academy of Country Music Red Barrel Lounge. So it's a concert series that's happening on cruises that will be leaving from Galveston, Texas. And it starts in February 9th, and it goes all the way through March 17th. First cruise is with Drew Baldridge. Then you're going to have Chapel Hart, Hannah Ellis, Tiger Lily Gold, Kelsey Hart, and Cameron Marlowe. If you want to get out of the cold and maybe cruise with some friends and hear some country music, here's your opportunity. Check it out, princess.com.
You and I both had the exact same thought that the Chapel Hart or Tiger Lily Gold week might be the most fun week, just to be out on the water with them.
I have fun with all of those ladies, no matter where we are. We're always a little too loud. We're always very excited to see each other. And the pitch goes up when we see each other. It's like, all the way up. I don't mean for it to. It just happens. So, yeah, that would be the tone probably at the high seas. Throw that in there. And you got to do karaoke with Chapel Hart.
Oh, we did for the Opry Trust Fund, and hopefully doing that again this Saturday. Of course, Friday is our final Opry 100 at Ryman for January.
Yes.
And then Saturday night, we're back at the Opry House, and Opry Goes Dolly. So we're going to do some Dollyoke after the Grand Ole Opry to raise money for the Opry Trust Fund.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so a question that we had this morning. I threw this out because I am currently listening. I like to listen to books. I don't necessarily have a whole lot of time to read, but I have a lot of time in the car. So I listen to Audible, and I'm listening to a book that I have listened to now. This is my third
time through.
Maybe fourth.
Wow.
But it's one of those, once you listen to it, it's like, oh man, yeah, I love what she's saying. Her name is Jen Sincero, and she has a whole line of books. I'm sorry, Mom, but the whole line of books are You're a Badass. So that's the very first one. This is the one that I'm listening to now. You're a Badass at Making Money, which is it's fantastic. It's so good. I really love it. Highly recommend it. And I've had friends say like, what's a great book that you like? And I said, if you're looking for self-help, that's my go-to. So that kind of sent me down the path today. Like, what's the book that you've either read more than once, listened to more than once, or are sharing actively with friends?
So I just went with the most recent of that example, and it's a book I found. I also love listening because I spend a lot of time in the car. And Jim Dale is one of my favorite audiobook narrators. He did all 7 of the Harry Potter books, and he's phenomenal. He's British. So then I thought, well, when I finished with those, what else has he read? And I stumbled on a book by Erin Morgenstern called The Night Circus, and absolutely was enchanted by it. I have recommended it to Renee, who also devoured it. I've bought physical copies of it and read the book and given the book to other people. It just, it's not a self-help book. It's not a change your life book, but it is just so, can I read you the opening line?
Please.
I just love the opening line. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. No paper notices on downtown posts or billboards. No mentions or advertisements in local newspapers. It's simply there when yesterday it was not.
Oh, wow.
And it just, there's some time travel. It changes decades.
Dig it.
A little bit of magic in there as well. Actually, quite a bit of magic. It's just fantastic.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Annie, you said yours was The Nightingale, which I am unfamiliar with. Why do you love this book? What is it about? There's the
Kristen Hanna.
Kristen Hanna is the author. What is it about The Nightingale that you love so much?
I just loved this book. I don't know. It changed my route of reading. I never really read historical fiction novels, and this one just It's so, so good. It's about two sisters during World War II, and one of them's super progressive, and the other one has a kid, and her husband goes to war, and it's sad, and it's happy, and the ending is just phenomenal. It couldn't be better.
Oh, we're going to have our own book club, guys.
Yeah, let's do a book club.
WSM Book Club.
There it is.
Okay.
Take that, Oprah.
We've got 3 to get you started. If they can do it, we can do it. That's right. I wonder what John Party's reading.
None of our choices.
None of our choices.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
I've known this guy for many years, and I am super tickled that he stopped by to see us this morning. Welcome to the studio, Joe Denim. How are you?
I am fantastic, Kelly. How are you?
I am doing so well.
So great.
We were reminiscing about like old times, Jaron, your friend.
I know, man.
Some of the stuff that was happening around town. How long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville since 2001.
Same.
Yeah, 2001. So what's that? 12 years?
Yeah, something like
13
that.
years?
In dog years.
Yeah, dog years.
Feels like it. You don't count 2020. That was just not
2020 is a wash, but no, it's about in 22 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Years, 24 years.
Yeah. And all of the things that brought you to Nashville, what was like the driving force? Was it music?
Yes, music. I came down to play piano in B3 Oregon and started hitting the road right after I got here, after I discovered the fiddle and steel and met everybody and went on the road with Buddy Jewell.
You were out with Buddy.
Yeah. Played the Grand Ole Opry the first time with Buddy Jewell. Yep.
Would that be right after Nashville Star?
Yeah, it was right after he had that hit, Help Pour Out the Rain, and I was like, wow, this is moving fast, and been on the road ever since with everybody from rock to country, and now we're out with Vanilla Ice on the hip hop tour.
I saw that
lineup.
lineup.
Are you kidding me?
I just chuckled because I thought, well, there's got to be a Vanilla Ice story, right?
I mean, I figure if they're bringing hip hop to country, I'm taking country to hip hop. So here we go.
Well, there's always been the underlying foundation of music, but then you layer comedy on top of that, and that's kind of where you and I got to know each other, and all the years that I've worked at Fox 17 and Channel 4 and so many other things. So were you always kind of doing comedy on the side? How did that all kind of blend?
Our good friend you mentioned earlier, Field and Stream, Rodney Carrington. I was out in Vegas writing with him. I was out there. I forget who I was there with, but he's like, "Look, you gotta really dig into this. This is funny stuff." So, it's all his fault. And I did. I dug in, and we've been having fun ever since. So
that's amazing, amazing stuff. Well, in being in Nashville, tell us some of your favorite stories. You said off the air, we were just talking about Bill Cody. You said you had a good Cody story, so.
I think my favorite.
He's not here, so we can talk all about him.
I hope he's listening, though.
Correct my memory. Did you not have to fill in for him for something when he had his gallbladder operation like 10 years ago or something?
Yes. Brandy Sims from CMA called. I was hosting one stage, and I'd hosted Riverfront, and she called and said, "Hey, what are you doing like right now?" I'm like, what? She's like, "Bill Cody can't make it. He's not feeling well. Can you do Bill Cody's slot on the Riverfront stage?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." So I get down there. I'm like, "Wait a second, I'm doing Bill Cody." So I walked out and said, "Hi, I'm Bill Cody."
You did?
I did. And everybody just kind of went, "What? Wait, what?" Well, turns out, I don't know. And I made the joke. I said, "I'm not Bill Cody, obviously, whatever, And then like a couple years later, we were doing an interview with him. And he said, "I was laying in my hospital bed and I could see the stage and I heard you walk out and say, 'I'm Bill Cody.'"
That's amazing.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun, and it's all been, we've had a lot of fun in this town, So.
All the tours that you've done, who has been the biggest impact on you?
Toby Keith.
I was going to say, is it Toby?
Yeah. No doubt Toby. I mean, Toby was like, we did that American Ride tour, and he would come into our dressing room every day, and we would sit and do this. We would sit and tell stories, and we'd laugh, and then afterwards we'd jump on the bus, and we laughed and joked the entire time. That was probably the best tour I've been on.
Did you write with Toby, or was
I did.
Okay, I wondered. I mean, there's, you go out on tour with people, and sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't. You're just so busy. Yeah,
we leaned into the stuff that you can't play on the radio, kind of writing, which I'll play you the song, but it's pretty great. But he was just very kind. He didn't have to be as nice as he was to us, but he was just over the top nice. I can't say enough good about Toby.
I hear that from so many people, that everybody that went out with him, they said, he was a hard boss, but also very funny.
Yeah, and we got warned about that tour. the booking agent said, listen, they'll kick you off the tour if they don't like you. I don't care how big your song is. Just mind your P's and Q's. And I'm like, I loved every one of those tour members. I still talk to them. They've played in our bands before, a lot. So Rich and Micah and Dink, just all those guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, we still see Micah all the time at the Grand Ole Opry, which is great, too. So, yeah, you always heard the same thing about Charlie Daniels, that he would always treat everyone on that tour like they were family.
Yep, he was nice. We did a show with him in Alabama, and a friend of mine asked me to have a fiddle signed. She had a fiddle that she wanted signed, and I asked Charlie, I said, well, he doesn't sign fiddles. He doesn't like to sign instruments. And I walked up and handed it to him and said, I know you don't like to sign these, but he looked at it, he said, well, this thing's a piece of crap. I'll sign it. So I think his tour manager or something said that's one of the only ones he's ever seen him sign. I'm like, well, that's pretty great. Here
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
well, you've got a new song.
Yes.
It's Yes Dear Season, but it's DEAR.
Yes. It's
I'm very happy about that.
It's about Yes Dear. I was sitting out in the tree stand one day, and I thought, when I get out of here, I'm going to have to really pay for this when I get back to the house.
Sure.
So it's a high price to pay for sitting out in the woods, freezing your butt off and being a stump, hoping to see a deer. But you wind up at the Home Depot time you're done. So that's where it came from.
We're going to play. Is this like the worldwide debut? No, because you've already played it a couple other places.
It's hit the airwaves, but this is the first time it's being rolling around Nashville. So
okay,
this is a debut. This is Nashville's debut.
We'll take it. Nashville debut. WSM debut. It's Joe Denim. Yes Dear Season.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Joe Denim is in the studio with us this morning. We just heard Yes Dear Season and got to see the video all around the world on our streaming partners. The idea for the video, talk to me a little bit about that. Was that your deer stand that you were in? Or?
That was my deer stand. That's a Lazy Man stand from Cabot, Arkansas. I painted it up like Dickerson Road camouflage.
I was going to say, that is not the typical camouflage. You aren't hiding anything.
I know. Well, actually, from the ground up, you see a lot of sky. So I love camouflage, and there's a lot of blue in there. So if you stand down and look at it from a Yes Deer's perspective, it really blends in well.
Very nice. And the jacket that you had on, you got to give us a little backstory.
Jacket is a Gonzo Ted Nugent jacket that I got in Detroit, Michigan from Ted Nugent.
That's amazing.
And that was his idea of camouflage.
It was more zebra than camouflage.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine texted that to him, and he texts back, the text was really great that Ted sent back. But yeah, Ted's got his own clothing line.
So funny. All right, well, if you're listening to us, Joe is going to be playing City Winery January 29th. You're going to be there with Jordan Rainier?
Jordan Rainier, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I write with her. She's great, and we're going to have a great show. You guys should come out to that.
Well, she had a great run on The Voice.
Oh, yeah.
Loved. That's when we first met her in studio.
Yeah, I met her with Roger Springer writing with her, and she is a really, really good writer, like an amazing writer.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it fun when you meet somebody like that and you're like, oh, yeah, we vibe. Yeah. This is good.
Yeah, and you walk in and you just don't know what to expect, and she just came in so humble and just started an amazing guitar player, an amazing piano player, an amazing singer. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But, yeah, we've written a lot together, and she asked me to do it. I'm like, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that show. That'll be a fun show.
All right. Well, let's get you warmed up this morning. You got the guitar. What do you want to play first?
Well, Yes Dear Season is a relationship song. And,
yes.
That's what I like to write, Kelly, is relationship songs.
All about the love.